Welcome to the Bigger Room podcast. I'm your host, Mel Cobian.
And I'm Jill Bender, and today we're going to talk about faith. So to start this out, Mel, when you hear the word faith, what do you think of?
Believing in something outside of yourself.
My initial response when I hear the word faith makes me think of religion, naturally. I think.
Naturally, yeah, before I got super spiritual this year, I would say religion, aka a trigger. I didn't like that.
Oh yeah. I didn't either.
Look at us evolving, Jill.
Oh my God. Right here on the podcast before everyone's ears.
Yeah.
Witnessing it.
Yeah. What does it mean for you now?
Now, it's believing in something that you can't see, that you know is happening in the background. You're trusting. So for me, it's trusting the process. We kind of touched base on this a couple times in the other past episodes, but in our line of business, we're putting in all this effort, especially in the beginning, and it's often very hard for people to see the progress after a certain point, and they want to give up. And that's when you really have to have faith that everything you're doing is still working. It's working in the background. And the ones that do keep the faith and make it over that spot, they get the huge reward. So many people don't make it that far though.
They don't keep the faith. And I think I said something that I know what I meant, but it's actually incorrect, which was something outside of yourself. I kind of want to correct that because it's not outside of ourselves, it's inside of us. It's like what I meant by that. I think by now you guys know I always think before I speak, and I think in Spanish, so it's kind of funny, actually. I don't know if you knew that, Joe, but most of my thoughts are in Spanish. So usually I'm thinking and it's in Spanish, and then when it comes out, I'm like actively translating in English. Yeah.
It's in Spanglish.
Exactly. Yeah. I do not speak proper Spanish or English for that matter. So when faith for me is you believe in something, a force that's within you that you have to tap into, which is our inner world, how you feel inside, how you think. So mind, body, and soul. And then it projects into your outer world, and trusting, having faith in that law that it's going to happen, being patient, just showing up with, again, your inner world, reflecting the outer world that you want to see. That's faith. That is faith. And what happens is people, what I was going to say is, but people look outside of themselves to justify how they should feel inside. So we all say, I have faith that I'm going to be financially free this year. And it's like, okay, cool. Keep the faith. Hold on to the faith. Do the work. Make sure that your mind, body, and soul are connected to that faith. You need to have it, meaning that you believe it, you feel it, and you see it in your mind. And that's how you walk throughout your day. You are literally a projector projecting into your outer world. But then Sally at work upsets you. And then, Jose says something that you really just want to, bite his head off. And then somebody cuts you off when you're driving. And then all of a sudden, your inner world becomes anger, rage. Then you start scrolling on social media and start seeing other people get results and they're living the life that you want to live. So now you have envy. And now your inner world is no longer projecting the outer world that you want. So you lose the faith because now you're questioning. You're questioning your faith by not standing by that mind, body, soul alignment to the faith in the vision and what it is that you want from life. People call it God. People call it the universe. Call it whatever you want.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter what you call it. And there's a lot of names for it. But what do you call it?
Source energy. That's what it feels like when I meditate.
That's good.
Yeah.
A really good analogy for it that I actually used to use this analogy for myself in the early days, but I was reminded of it recently on the Kathleen Cameron podcast. And she talks about when you plant something, you put it in the dirt, you water it, you put it in some sunlight, and you can't see anything is happening because it's under the dirt. It takes a little bit, but you're not going to stop giving it water and sunlight. You're not going to walk away from it and say, this doesn't work, right? You have faith that this seed is doing what it's supposed to be doing underground. All of the nutrients and everything you're giving it are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and you continue to nurture it until it grows fruit. And that's when I started. When I was doing my online business in the early days, I called myself a farmer, and I was planting seeds, and anytime anybody was putting doubt into my mind, whether or not this is going to work, and I would tell them, I'm going to leave my 9 to 5. I am not going to be working. How do you know? I said, because I'm planting seeds. And I had a friend that I had met actually in the Adrian Brambilla course that I had done. I had a friend that I met in there who I still am friends with, and she calls me all the time. She's like, how's Farmer Jill doing? How's my little farmer doing? She knows, she's on board with it, and I love it. So yeah, I always had faith that it was everything I was doing was going to do something amazing.
We are all here for a reason. And if you have this big feeling and deep knowing that you're meant to do something, like you always had this knowing that you were going to be your own boss, and so did I did. And, maybe you don't believe in reincarnation or, other universes or anything like that, but there's a deep knowing within you that you're supposed to remember. We're not here to learn anything. We're here to remember our power. And you do that by having faith that you can and that you are that powerful and a creator. So many people give their power away the moment they wake up. And we've talked about this, but now I think it really kind of starts connecting to how important it is to faith. Is the moment you wake up, who do you give your power away to? Your phone. And then the emails. And then you have to go make your coffee. And then you have to make breakfast. And then you have to get the kids ready. And then somebody cuts you off. And then you have to go check the emails again, and then you go to work, and then somebody upsets you at work, and then you come home, and then you have to do the chores and get dinner ready, and then if you're married and you have a significant other, and you have to hear about their day, and you get what I'm saying? Every little minute of your life, you're giving your power away. So when do you have the energy and the time to tap into your faith? If you're consistently giving your power away. And then think about the where's your mind if you're thinking like that? It's in the past. It's not present. And how can we manifest and create, Jill? We can only do that if we're focused in the present. How you feel right now is all that matters, because that is literally the projection of your future. So if you're walking every single day with the projection of the past, you're living in the past. In the present moment. When are you truly present? When are you truly present? That is why I meditate, because I have to shut my mind, get to the point where I'm not thinking about anything. I'm thinking about how I want to feel. I mimic the emotions that I want to feel. I don't even care about the how, because the universe doesn't work that way. And my faith is so strong that I know, because it's happened time and time again. That's how deep my faith is I know what I need to do now. I know that I need to dedicate this time and honor presence, which is the most beautiful gift. And so many people spend time depressed about the past and anxious about the future, when the true gift of life is right in front of you. Go for that walk. Get that workout in. Play music when you're cooking. Fall in love with the present moment. Then you start vibrating at a higher frequency, better emotions, happier. And guess what starts happening? You start projecting those exact feelings into your future.
Yep.
But you have to have faith.
So a friend of mine just lost her job last night or yesterday. And when she first told me, she's like, I'm good. It's fine. It's all going to work out. And I'm like, I know her. So I know she's like internally freaking out, but she's trying to tell herself that she's not. And I was like, okay. So then later that night, I'm sitting there scrolling through. I was scrolling through TikTok. All right, I'll be honest. I was looking at fish tanks on TikTok, and she's like, she sent me something. She sent me a TikTok, and then I said, I can't believe you're still awake, because it was like almost 10 o'clock, and she usually goes to bed early. And she said, I'm stressed out. I'm like super. I have like so much anxiety right now, and blah blah blah. And I said, you already have a new job. You already know it's a done deal. I don't even understand why you have a problem. And she's like, yeah, I know, but basically she's afraid of the unknown. And I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Most people are.
I said, here's me mindlessly scrolling through TikTok, daydreaming about my new fish tank. What's there in the world over here? She's like, I need some of that energy. I'm like, I work hard on this energy.
Yeah. You said something that I think scares a lot of people, and that's the unknown. And that's you have to embrace the unknown. You have to, because so many of us are separated. What I mean by separated is we're so separated from that source energy, whether you believe in it or not. And because we're so separated, we think that there's something out there outside of us, when really, again, it's inside of you. It's inside your inner world. Fix your inner world, and your outer world will project that. And the thing about the unknown is you know what it is? You know what the unknown is? It's trust. It's trusting the universe. It's trusting that the universe has bigger plans. It's faith. But you know what? That's the hardest thing for us humans to learn, is trust, because we've been programmed. So, and I'm just getting goosebumps as I say this, because it's been like a big awakening for me this entire year, that if you're not creating your life, you're being ran by a program. And that program is how you grew up, what you learned, what you've been taught, what your parents said, what your peers said. Every single day, people are going to try to program you. And the moment you start doubting yourself and you no longer trust the unknown, I literally surrender. I'm like, universe, like, this is how I want to feel. This is the experiences I want to have. I surrender to however that's going to happen, because my critical mind, and for those of you that know me, know that I am like, I'm a sticky note person. Like, I work like module 1, module 2, step 3, step 4. That's how I've always been. That's how my brain works. So for me to be willing to pull back and be vulnerable to letting the universe say, you know what? I trust that the right people are going to come to me. I trust that I'm meeting the right people that are going to serve my highest good and the good of everyone. I just trust that. And since I let go, it takes so much pressure off. I start meeting the right people that I know are going to take me in the right direction, and I don't question it. I have faith.
Gotta have faith.
That which is
George Michael.
Yeah. Trust the unknown. It's really that, is trusting the unknown. Whether you believe in something, source energy, God, whatever, if you don't believe in any of that, you still have to trust that you're here for a good time. We talked about it last time. Like, are you going to have fear the rest of your life, or are you going to let go of that fear the last 5 minutes before you transition over? I don't know about you, but I'd be pretty upset if we went back to source energy and then I was looking at the overview of my movie and I was like, dang, I wish I would have done that. I wish I could have done that. Or do you ever wake up from a dream, Jill, and you're like, that was such a good dream. Like, I want to go back. Let's not feel that way about this life, wherever it is that we go next. Let's not have any regrets.
You're getting deep.
Those are the things that run through my meditation sometimes.
So your meditation, when you're describing your meditation, how I've recently learned about, basically it seems like it's the exact same thing, and they call it embodiment. So doing your embodiment exercise. And
I do embody here.
Is that different from meditation?
So I think there's a lot
described meditation.
Yeah, I do a lot of different types of meditation. Like some that might be a little too woo-woo for some people, but meditation is sacred. It really is sacred. It's honoring your energy body, which is embodying those energy centers that we have. Some of you may know them as the chakras, and some of you may know them as just the different glands in your body. At the end of the day, we are a bundle of nerves, and we have energy, and the body keeps the score, right, of all the traumas. And so every energy center is connected to maybe pain that you feel in your body. If you're somebody that doesn't know how to speak up for yourself, that's usually linked to the throat chakra. And then there's a heart chakra and sacral. And there's 7 of them that usually get activated when you meditate, which is called a Kundalini awakening. So that's like a specific type of meditation. But you have to respect those energy centers. They're only going to open up until you're ready to submit to them. And you said something earlier that is the root chakra, which is grounding. Root.
What did I say about that?
You gave the example that you learned at Kathleen's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Planting the
strong roots. Yeah. Yeah. Planting seeds. So that's something like it's a part of my vocabulary is everything I learn is always planting a seed. And every time we have like a podcast recording or I do content, like I try to plant a seed. Because a lot of the stuff that we're talking about, some people may not be there. Some people are probably there. And we're just planting seeds. If anything we say resonates for you, it's because that seed is ready. It's ready for you to water it and tend to it. But yeah, there's so many different types of meditation. And my advice would be just start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Your body's going to want to fall asleep. It's going to want to. And eventually you'll be able to do it for a long time.
So something that could be fun for our listeners to do is the embodiment that I had done on one of the calls that I was on last week. Every listener can do this. It doesn't take very long. Like Mel said, give it 5 minutes. I don't think this one's going to make you want to fall asleep. If anything, it might relax you enough to just feel calm. But I don't think it's going to make you sleepy at all. You're going to close your eyes. Or not, but close your eyes. It's easier to envision. And your perfect scenario. Like, what do you envision your perfect scenario is? And Mel, I think you and I have talked on perfect scenarios before, but we had done a vision board. So we're putting things in. And I was even messaging Mel during that time saying, do I want a lazy river at my pool? So put ourselves in our vision and I could share just a little brief. I'm not going to give you all my details, but, so I put myself at my new house. I had the pool outside. I saw big, rock structures, and there was a water slide coming into the pool. My son and his friends are sliding down the slide. I'm having a party. I have people prepping snacks, appetizers, everything. Everybody's got a nice cocktail in their hand, and it's a sunny day. There's music in the background. That's my happiest scenery that I was painting. And so take those few minutes, put yourself in that scene of what you envision your ideal life is. Because if you don't know what it is that you want, it's going to be very hard to get there.
You're putting the emotion ahead of the event. And for those of you that say, I can't get myself there, you do it all the time. You do it all the time. When you're on your way to work and you're upset about how somebody said something or the email that went out, and you're preparing your speech about what you're going to say when you get to the work and how you're going to go off and how you're going to slam them against the wall, you literally start riling yourself up. So the fact that you can feel the emotion, yeah. The fact that you can feel the emotion ahead of the event means that you can visualize. You can feel those emotions. And if you're not allowing yourself, it's maybe because you don't think you're worthy of it, which is a whole another can of worms.
And I do want to say that since I did this exercise, I think we did on Thursday, and I went there easily because I was on this call. We're all doing it at the same time. And then I did it again another day, and then I did it a third day, and I was so emotionally distracted from stuff that I had going on that day that I would get to my pool, and all of a sudden I'd be ripped out of there, and I was back in the emotion of what was present, and I'm like, no, I'm trying to go into my happy zone right now, and it probably took me 5 minutes to get my freaking body to stay, my mind to stay put. Yeah. So don't give up. I'm not saying this is just going to be the easiest exercise. For some people, it might be. Like, it was super easy the day I did it, but sometimes you have to try a little bit. But
it has to do with the brain waves. You have to be in an alpha state in order to be able to not have the critical mind, because sometimes when you try to drop in and if you're having like 100 thoughts, that puts you in high beta state. So you really have to drop yourself. And that's why sometimes like meditation music or guided meditation, when somebody's guiding you through it, that's why it's a lot easier for people to follow. If you try to do it yourself, that's why people tend to fall asleep, because you drop too fast. That's when you drop too fast. But once you're in that alpha state and then almost kind of like that lucid dreaming, you can't think. That's the crazy thing. You can't think you can only think happy thoughts. You don't care about, this person at work, or you just think how you want to feel, what you want to see, what you want to envision. And that is how you manifest. That's exactly how you manifest. The thing is that people then, right, maybe that's not going to happen. You lose the faith every time your consciousness goes to the past or anxiety toward the future. You have to be present. Give yourself that sacred time of meditation to honor the life you get to live.
Oh yeah, 100%. Mel, when you brought up the driving to work and you're getting pissed off, I was thinking about when I used to drive to a 9-to-5. I never had any of those issues because my drive to work was me daydreaming about getting out on the lake, getting out on the water, being somewhere else. I was like, yeah, as soon as I no longer work, this is what I'm going to be doing. I don't drive like this, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm driving to school. But it just goes to show I didn't know I was doing embodiment work on my way to work, but now I'm living that life that I was envisioning back then, and I will be living that life that I'm currently envisioning now.
Yeah,
it's powerful. Oh, but what I did want to say really quick, Mel, onto when you were talking about allowing yourself and everything, nobody is in your head but you. So if you start going there and you don't feel worthy because of whatever programming you've had throughout your life from other influences telling you you're not worthy of certain things, shut those off. Because one, you are worthy. That's ridiculous to think you're not. But two, nobody's there. Nobody's going to kick you out. Nobody's going to say you can't do it. It's in your head. You haven't vocalized it to a single person. Dream big. Be there. Be in that happy place.
Yeah. And I just want to say,
have faith that it can happen.
Have faith. Yeah. I just wanted to say that no one is so special that can't tap into this. Like you're not the exception. Like, oh, that could never happen to me. Like, oh, I could never do that. Or, oh, like, I can't create my future. You're not that special. We all have that same power. Again, we're not here to learn anything. We're here to remember our power. And with that, and remember that faith is just believing that your inner world has a projection into your outer world. Thank you so much for listening to the Bigger Room podcast.